Hi, I'm Gaz. In today's video I thought I'd tell you about why I started up a record label, so stay tuned to the latest episode of the G-Log.
Meet radio and television personality Gaz Reynolds, the founder of World Domination Records and Great Drive Driving School. Like, comment and subscribe to be part of the journey. This is Gaz Reynolds, the G-Log.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the G-Log. So today, I thought it was probably time that I told you about why I actually started up a record label. Now, when I was very young, I'm talking age 10, I was always fascinated with music. I remember I was a big Elvis fan, funnily enough, but later on I became a very big fan of dance music, kind of influenced by 80s music initially, but later on as I progressed in my music career I started moving into all genres of sort of dance music, house, electro, there was everything really, and I had the fortune throughout my career of actually working with lots and lots of very famous producers and some up-and-coming producers and artists as well. But let me start at the beginning. So in 2004 I formed the record label World Domination Records, and I never realised really how difficult actually owning a record label and how challenging it would actually be. But I soon found out. I remember I woke up one morning, I've been thinking about it for some time, but I woke up one morning and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And I had actually just lost my job as a social worker. I was made redundant because the unit where I was working was closed down, and part of the redundancy package was actually I was offered a job elsewhere, but I decided not to take it. I just decided to take the redundancy, and I thought, do you know what, I'm just going to do my real passion, which is start my record label up, which was World Domination Records. So the reason why I called the record label World Domination Records was for several reasons really. First of all, I wanted to dominate the world. The world's a massive place, and it was a bit of a challenge, but I just thought, well, the internet's here, and I reckon with social media and the internet it can be done. And then what happened, well, actually let me tell you why I actually started the record label up right from the beginning. So the actual reason why I started World Domination Records was because I had recorded quite a lot of records, and I thought that they were pretty good, and that wasn't me being vain or egotistic, it was just that I actually thought they did actually sound good, and the feedback that I was getting was that they were really good. And I thought, well, you know, where do I go next? Where do I take my records? So I started touting them around at record labels, and it's the same old story really. A&R departments don't, you know, unless you've got some bigwig manager who's friends with somebody in an A&R department, they're unlikely to even consider your music. You know, they get thousands and thousands of tracks sent to them every day, so why would you be any different? That just goes in the bin. So I thought, I've got to do something different. So I thought, if I have my own record label and release records, maybe those record labels will actually be interested in me. Funnily enough, that did actually work. So I set up World Domination Records, and I managed to attract the world's largest music distributor to give me a distribution deal, which is lifelong. So whenever I release a record, or any artist on my record label releases a record, it will be released literally around the world. So that's one of the reasons why I called the record label World Domination Records, because I got worldwide distribution. But there was the other reason, which was I wanted to dominate the world. Now, what happened is, when I started releasing my own records, because that's why the record label was set up, to release my own records, suddenly I had record labels knocking on the door wanting to sign me. And so I did sign with a couple of record labels, never made any money. So anyway, what happened is when I started releasing my records, I started making videos as well, and I started putting them onto YouTube. Now, I'll be honest with you, the videos were done in a hurry, they were done very cheaply, and the technology that's around now, I probably could have made something 1,000 times better for half the price. But the one thing that I was doing is I was actually filming these videos in different countries, and so I think that sort of got people interested in these different countries. Like I filmed one video in Russia, one in America, one in India, so I started attracting attention from those countries. Now at that time we had MySpace. Later on Facebook replaced MySpace, but MySpace was a massive platform for, well, it was a social media platform for everybody at one point, kind of like Facebook, and then all the musicians started taking over, so you was getting a lot of stars being formed from MySpace. So I used MySpace to really promote my record label. And then what happened is I started getting artists from around the world, everywhere really, Russia, Indonesia, America, Canada, UK, you know, you name it, they were coming. And so I signed a whole load of acts to my record label, and they all had releases out, albums and singles and videos and TV interviews and radio interviews, because of course once you have a record label everybody wants to know you. It's an unusual you know, business to have. So we had loads of television stations contacting us to interview either myself or some of the artists. I started appearing in lots of magazines. There was a whole load of stuff going on. It was really exciting. However, what I underestimated is the cost of running a record label, and soon all of my savings were gone. And that's why in another video I explained why I started up a driving school. Well anyway, I was actually offered at one point, I think it was £1.5 million for my record label. I said no way. Of course that would have set me up very nicely for life, but I decided not to take it because that's my business, that's my idea, and I love World Domination Records and everything it stands for, and I will never sell it. Basically I'll never sell it, and so anyone who wants to buy it, I'm not doing it. But anyway, to cut a long story short, a couple of years ago I started getting lots and lots of television and radio interviews. I'd had loads in America anyway, and actually in Russia and Australia, etc. But then I started getting, there was a new flurry of calls and emails coming in, and a couple of years ago a sort of renewed interest in World Domination Records and what I was doing, and so I ended up doing an interview on Big Review TV, and there's been a whole load of other television and radio shows since. Also my local radio station, Radio Harrow, have always been very supportive of what I do. So recently I was on Steve Johnston's radio show, and I was talking about all of this stuff, and I've left a link in the description below, and I have left links for various other radio and television interviews that I've done in the links below. So anyway, cut a long story short, and it is a long story, so it'll probably have to be split into several videos, this particular subject. The main reason really that I started my record label was because I wanted somewhere to market my own music, but of course then I started getting a buzz for seeing those releases actually coming out. You know, we've got global distribution, so we've got iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, anything you can think of where any store that you can think of where you buy music, we've got the distribution for, and it's literally around the world. And then a few months ago, of course, I started the G-Log, my vlog series, and all of the songs and music pretty much that are used in my vlogs I actually own on my record label, World Domination Records. And so then when I launched the vlog series, I'd already had in my head that somehow I was going to incorporate my driving school and my record label and my music career into these vlogs. And what we've actually done now, and this was part of the plan, was to release a vlog album, and this has never been done before. So albums have been released before, but not one specifically from a vlog series. So so now we've got the album coming out this month. There's a big party coming, by the way, as well, big launch. You're going to be surprised who's involved. It's pretty exciting, but I'll be revealing that very, very soon. But anyway, you can pre-order the album now. It's called Gaz Reynolds Presents the G-Log Album, Volume 1. It's over 1 hour's worth of music, and it's very, very reasonably priced. So anyway, that's the end of today's video. I've explained why I started a record label up. I'll probably come back to this subject because it is a big subject. Yeah, well, that's it for now. So if you've enjoyed today's video, then please like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification button. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.
Out now, Gaz Reynolds' new album, The Wedding Album, as featured on Big Review TV and Radio Harrow. Available at iTunes and all major outlets worldwide.